welcome. I'm Devika Chopra and I'm standing in the capital of Karnataka. I'm in Bangalore city in front of the iconic Vidhan Sauda. Yes, the battle for Karnataka has officially begun. We're looking at 28 seats which are up for grabs in the next two phases of the general elections. Today I have with me a mix of activists, advocates, industry spokespersons, urban planners and former cops as well, all residents of Karnataka who join us on the election eve to understand what is it that Karnataka is voting for, what is it that Karnataka needs, what is it that Karnataka wants. So without taking much time away from all of our guests and panelists today, I'm going to start this rapid fire session with everyone. I want to begin with Mr. S.T. Ramesh. Mr. Ramesh, I want to understand from you, sir, what do you think are going to be the biggest voting issues for Karnataka this time?
There is not going to be one voting issue. There are several Bangalores. And roughly, let me divide it into two. The more educated, more aware, and the less educated, less aware citizens. For the more educated and more aware, conscious citizens, it's going to be bigger issues like civil rights, human rights, constitution, and things like that. So that will be a factor in voting. Whereas in the other cases, the less fortunate, marginalized sections, the 5 guarantees of the government of the Congress government is going to play a big role, is my feeling.
Okay, all right. Mr. Menon, same question to you, sir. I want to understand from you, what do you think are going to be the biggest voting issues this time?
So I think there are two big issues that I think are going to be central to this election itself. I think one of the bigger issues that we had is the allocation of funds, central funds especially to Karnataka. I mean, for every rupee that we have actually sent to the center, Karnataka gets about 15 paise, while Bihar and other places get over 7 rupees. UP gets about 2 rupees 42 paise. So I think, that's one of the things is that's going to be central to this election. The other thing I think, and more importantly, is the 2026 moratorium when delimitation takes place. And I think the southern states are especially feeling the pinch, because if delimitation does take place based on a revised census, going away from the 1971 census that we had, which was, got
the benchmark,
through the 84th Amendment up to 2026, I think the southern states are really going to feel the pinch. So I think, that's where hopefully most of the people over here understand this whole concept and are able to vote their conscience.
Okay, Ms. Lodi, same question to you, sir. Even from an industry perspective, because Karnataka and Bangalore specifically is now, or has been for a long time, been known as the intellectual hub, the startup hub. So from that perspective, what do you think are the biggest issues for the younger generation here that's trying to really find their own footing in the world?
So, but this election is not fought on the how to make Vikasit Bharat. It is on the caste basis. It is on the guarantees, which both the parties are fighting. But hopefully this Congress here, which is in the ruling in Karnataka, will make a dent in the earlier seats, because the guarantees of the woman is going to make a major role. The free bus ride, that is going to impact these elections, as well as the guarantees of, but as far as the other person was speaking about the tax devolution. Yes, industries are much more concerned, because we have contributed much to the becoming second highest GST payers in India. But that is not being heard. What is coming to us? Where is the infrastructure needed for the industry? Who's talking about the industry? Those issues are the sidelines. But the main issue is on the guarantees and the caste voting. It will take place this time.
Okay, at the same time, same question to you, sir. What do you think will be the biggest voting issues?
One thing which everybody in Karnataka is unhappy about is the silence of our 25 MPs. Because, like everybody has said, we've had a lot of injustice in terms of GST devolution, the special grant from the Finance Commission, and debt relief has not been paid. But we've sent 25 MPs, but they're not speaking about issues relevant to Karnataka. That is a big problem which everybody is seeing. The second thing is, people are tired of hate and division. Everybody doesn't buy into hate. So people want a government which doesn't just keep insisting on dividing the whole communities over here, but they want somebody who will actually do some work. So the stopping of hate, the saving of the constitution, devolution and the injustice that Karnataka has faced with a double engine government, these are some big issues in Karnataka right now.
Okay, Brinda, same question to you. I want to understand from you, do you feel that there has been then a polarization attempt in this particular election? And why do you think that sometimes there is a narrative that it usually does stem from Karnataka, that Karnataka is a hotbed for creating incidents or narratives that are polarizing? Why do you think that is?
Yes, we saw in all the speeches and we continue to see that there is polarization. And like Vinay pointed out, there is a lot of hate and exclusion that is continuously being repeated. But that apart, these are not only state issues and national issues. We also want to look at this election as a local issue. And over here, we are talking about inflation, price rise, unemployment is very, very high. And like the other gentleman pointed out, safety for women, for children, for senior citizens, yes, and all the guarantees. But at the end of the day, we are also looking at a very huge chunk of unorganized workers, the migrant laborers. What is it that is going to them? They are building our cities. And though there are promises being made from the national side, there is nothing that is percolating down here. So today we want to look at all of it. And now you know that Bangalore is reeling with the shortage of water.
Yes.
And that is another grave concern. And people in the less privileged sections of the society are suffering the most because money is there to be thrown for water tankers by a lot of people, but not by the majority of them. So these are major issues. But yes, the people of Karnataka and Bengaluru are also worried and concerned about the female wrestlers who are fighting, the farmers who are fighting, the Ladakh issue, and yes, the Manipur issues also. Though these are national issues,
right,
it is percolating here, and people are worried and bothered about all of this. And vote will go to people who want to uphold secularism and constitutional values.
Okay, I want to take the same thought then forward with Vinay Srinivas as well. Vinay, I want to understand from you. Sandeep, my apologies. Sandeep, I want to take the same thought with you as well. I just want to understand from you, is Karnataka then also voting on civic issues? Yes, Brinda said that there is a lot of national issues that are percolating in the politics here, but there are some major civic issues that have always been the issue in Karnataka. So are the citizens actually voting on those bases or not?
Devika, I wish that were the case. I wish citizens were actually talking about civic issues. I wish politicians and citizens were talking about infrastructure issues. I wish citizens and politics were debating climate change. The biggest elephant in the room today is climate change. One of the other speakers actually pointed out that there are different sections of society grappling with different issues. But this one issue is the leveler. We are going through one of the worst droughts. It's just the beginning. We are going through extreme water shortage in this city. And if you listen to the election debates or any of these arguments that are going around, nobody is talking about this. Nobody is talking about water crisis. People in Bengaluru are suffering from extreme water crisis. Our groundwater is over, which means half the city doesn't have water. Right now, tankers coming from outside the city are meeting the city's demands. Kaveri is not able to meet the demands. Shockingly, we receive more rains than what we require from Kaveri, but we don't store it because we've destroyed our wetlands. We've destroyed our green cover, which used to be 70% of the city. 97% of it has gone in the last 5 years. This shows that our development narrative, the development that we've been pursuing, is extremely wrong. There is no sustainability, there's no planning, we don't have a master plan, and devolution, which is as part of the 74th Amendment passed in 1992, has not been implemented. Therefore, we don't have a planning authority. Therefore, we don't have planning. And the city is an excellent case of unplanned growth leading to urban ruin. This is exactly what the Supreme Court said just in 2023 Jan. Now, our politicians and unfortunately our citizens are passionate about a whole lot of other things, but are not even aware or not even talking about our existential crisis. This climate crisis will lead not only to water crisis, it will lead to food crisis, it will lead to loss of livelihoods. Already we have millions of people affected in this country through not only direct impact, also there's a lot of migration impact. But nobody is talking about it. This, I think, is going to be the actual central problem our country is going to face, not only Karnataka, but there's zero talk about it. This is what worries me.
Okay, all right. Going back to Mr. S.T. Namesh then with that thought, I just want to understand from you, sir, what do you feel then has been done in Karnataka and what really remains to be done? And as per you, which political party would you then want to give credit to? Under whose leadership do you feel Karnataka has seen maximum improvement?
Okay, lot has been done, and a lot more needs to be done. That's my primary statement. Now, there have been successive chief ministers and successive leaders. But I can think of, let us start from S.M. Krishna. There was political stability in the state, and the IT industry, the urban population was extremely happy with S.M. Krishna because of the kind of policies and the pro-industry, pro-information technology approach he had. He was also a very refined, cultured person and projected a very good image of the party and the government. Subsequently, Siddaramaiah has done fairly well in his 2013-2018 tenure. Again, stability, political stability, and also certain pro-people policies. He is more of a grassroots level politician who did a lot for the common man. So he is a darling of the common people, the downtrodden, and so on and so forth. But a lot more needs to be done. Unfortunately, the BJP government, successive BJP governments were mired in corruption and allegations of corruption and too many controversies, and always suffered from instability. And less said about the JDS governments, the better.
Okay.
Except, of course, Deve Gowda's regime, when he had a decent majority, and he used to be a very mature politician, but unfortunately his tenure was cut short. That is briefly the political history for you in the last 2-3 decades. I can go on and on, but I'll stop here.
Okay.
To enable other panelists to talk.
Yes, Mr. Menon, then I just carrying forward the same thought. The Congress has done exceedingly well in the assembly elections.
Yes.
And it has been a little unprecedented given the political instability that Karnataka has seen, which could possibly be one of the reasons as to why the state does not manage to take forward certain projects that are started up, because you're constantly figuring out which hotel the MLAs are in next. But keeping that aside, now that the Congress is stable, do you feel that somewhere the assembly results could have an impact on the way the voters will be voting for Lok Sabha as well, or do you feel that that's unrelated?
I think there's a certain amount of correlation between the two. Like my former panelist just said, the instability in Karnataka has really been an issue with the BJP. And in fact, the horse trading that happened about 4 years ago when they actually brought the Congress government down is fresh in the memory of a lot of people. And I think across the country, if you look at it, that's been happening. While the BJP would like to try to, brush corruption aside, I think there's a significant amount of corruption that's happening at the highest levels. And I think the people of Karnataka, there's a bunch of intelligent people over here. Believe it or not, I don't want to be derogatory in any way, but I think the South basically has shown that we can lead the way, and especially with the IT industry that's flourished over here. And I think Siddaramaiah is a leader of the people. And I think the people are today realizing that we have had a lot of rubber stamp MPs who have gone to Parliament but haven't necessarily batted for Karnataka, including our Bangalore South MP, Tejasvi Surya, and very others. So I think we've got the Congress today has actually fielded some very good candidates. Professor Rajiv Gowda from North Bangalore, and Mansoor Ali Khan, and all of them. So I think in a certain sense, there is a wave towards the Congress. The 137 seats that we got was to ensure that no horse trading happened and the government was not brought down, and so that we have a 5-year government over here. And I think that's something that is going to bleed over into this Lok Sabha election, because there are infractions on the part of the BJP at the national level too. And so I don't think it's really going to percolate into the mind space of a lot of people over here. And I think, like some of the previous panelists said, division and trying to bring up religious incitement is something that we are not very happy with. And I think all of Karnataka has, especially much like Kerala, I think there are faiths of all, people of all faiths over here. And I think we've all lived in harmony. And so bringing about that kind of division hasn't really helped. And so I think, yes, the 137 seats that the Congress has got will bleed over into larger successes from their past performance in Karnataka.
All right. Same question to Mr. Lavati. Sir, the BJP, 25 out of the 28 seats seats last time
Yeah.
around. Do you think that there is an anti-incumbency factor then?
Yeah. As far as BJP is concerned, there is certainly in Karnataka anti-incumbency because people have given mandate to Congress party. There's a stable government is there. In another 2 years, we have to wait. The guarantees which they had promised, that has gone well with the masses of Karnataka, and that is going to play a major role. Whether we like it or not, it is going to be a major role in Karnataka, and I think they'll cross the double digit in as far as the numbers are concerned. But the same thing with the BJP, removing of Yediyurappa ji has given a boomerang in the state of Karnataka, because that is from there that it started. The BJP has gone sliding down in the assembly. The same thing may happen in the Lok Sabha also. But as far as industry, we are talking about devolution, taxes, but the real employment generators, the industry and the trade, are not being hurt by any political party. We are the one who are going to create jobs.
Right.
We were the one who are, the policies are not correct. Ease of doing business is only on paper with the central government or state government. Ease of doing business, practically it is not possible at any point of time. How we are running the industry and trade, that we are aware, but which only mere slogans cannot help the industry atmosphere, because we are the job creators. We are not dependent on government. We are on the whatever the taxes are there, it is by through industry and trade and commerce. But where the political parties, they are not bothered about. They want Vikasit Bharat. They want everything to
Yes.
take to 5 trillion. We are the one. Please consult the trade industries board across India. Then only it is possible. But as far as Karnataka is concerned, there is slight wave. You can say it is not like 1 or 27. It will be move behind, because women's are going to make a major role
Okay.
in getting Congress votes.
Okay, all right. Mr. Srinivas, then same question to you. So I just want to understand from you, do you feel that there's an anti-incumbency factor against the BJP at the national level?
There's definitely an anti-incumbency at the national level. There is no wave this time, because there is absolutely no achievements that they have to speak of. So if you see the recent speeches also, it's all about division, because what is the real achievement? On the other hand, the Congress under Mr. Siddaramaiah, like the previous panelist said, there was a stable government which led to inclusion, right? So for example, we had the Indira canteens. We made sure that the CM made sure that the Paurakarmikas move away from the contract system and they come to a direct payment system. There was something for every section of society, and there was actually debates on issues which concern the city, which concern the people. Whereas under the BJP government, we had hijab, halal, and all those kind of like needless issues. I'm also a civic activist. We worked a lot on water, on transport. But when the BJP was there, we had to be busy fighting hate, because there's absolutely no time to do anything else except fight the hate. So there is a lot of anti-incumbency, and I think that's going to play a major role this time.
Okay, Brinda, same question to you. I want to understand for you, what do you think made the BJP lose its footing sort of in Karnataka? Do you think it had to do also with the exit of a BS Yediyurappa?
It could be, yes. But I would also want to factor in over here the extreme aggression and hatred, lies, and a lot of fake stuff that kept going around. And I would want to mention over here that the WhatsApp university has been literally shattered, and we must shatter it further. And the other message that I want to give over here is also that for too long, the South has always been somebody that has learned from each other. We've never really had this Hindu, Muslim, Christian minority kind of fights. But over the last decade or so, this has deepened. And we see it in families, people arguing amongst themselves, because in the families you always find that the women are thinking a little different from the men.
Right.
With all due respect to everybody. And at those times, there are these arguments that happen, and that is not okay, because they know that this division, this exclusion, and this whole thing of putting the burden on the woman. And we also know this love jihad that has got spread, which is again fake. NIA itself said that they had only 3 or 4 cases. I don't remember the statistics, but it is not the kind of statistics that has been portrayed. South is also not a country. The southern states are also states that have always lived in harmony with each other, celebrating all the festivals. Talking about Hindu pride, talking about a minority taking away all your taxes and going away. We heard what Vivek and Mr. Ramesh had to say. At the end of the day, Karnataka is getting 13 paise, 15 paise out of 1 rupee. So where is this somebody taking it away and going? All of these have made the BJP look bad. And I think there is a lot of banking on the Congress for all the promises and also what has happened. The free bus rides. We've also got the electricity and other benefits.
Right.
And the safety part of it is also being taken care of. And I think that is something that women are going to bank very, very heavily on.
Okay, Sandeep, so it's, in a way, it's easy to say that it's a particular political party that is causing the polarization or is setting the narrative, but at the end of the day, did people fall for it? Did the people of Karnataka actually fall for it? Because you, like you said, that some of those issues did percolate to the ground. So why do you think then people actually responded or reacted to the narrative that some of the panelists say that the BJP was setting for the state?
No, Rekha, I doubt there is a single story. There are multiple stories and it's very nuanced. Does polarization exist? Yes, it does. But does it exist in the majority? I doubt it.
Okay.
Karnataka is a largely peaceful state. There are clusters of geographies where, yes, there is visible polarization, but the rest of the areas, it's largely not present. Why did the BJP lose? See, everybody thought double engine sarkar, and I think this applies to all parties. After all, BJP in Karnataka has just borrowed politicians from other parties, unlike cadre-based politicians in North India. In South India, BJP unfortunately is just like any other party because the people are from other parties, and the corruption is equally high. Though the BJP had a brilliant opportunity, though it was a bought opportunity because they bought out politicians and set up a government, it still had an opportunity for 3 years to prove that, well, if they had a double-engine sarkar, they would do something different. But it was a complete failure. It was abject failure. Also, the extreme levels of corruption that people could actually feel. Now, our unfortunate fate is that previous to that, Congress governments have been equally corrupt, if not worse.
Right.
So for us, it's between the devil and the deep sea. So if you look at other social narratives, polarization and other kinds of stories, yes, they try to sway the narrative. But end of the day, people are worried about their economic well-being, about their social well-being. What really dismays us is this city is suffering from lack of governance. There is absolute lack of governance, absolute lack of enforcement of laws. If you look at Bengaluru, for instance, it's a city where there's absolute lawlessness. None of the laws here are being followed. If we take the BBMP bylaws, the BDA laws on layout formation, real estate mafia literally destroys the city. The wetland rules have not been implemented throughout Karnataka, so we're losing wetlands and our water security at a crazy state. The groundwater rules have not been implemented. The 74th Amendment is not implemented. So basically, if you look at it, in all of these arguments and dialogues, people are losing sight of the fact that there is zero governance. Governments exist only to exploit people, to take away the money. A lot of the panelists are actually talking about how much money we receive. We don't have a plan to do anything with it if we get the money even. We don't have master plans. We don't have regional master plans. We don't know how to deal with the climate crisis that's coming.
Okay.
We don't have a plan to have even the basic well-being of the citizens or for the state and the habitat. Because if we don't have a habitat, we don't have anywhere to live. Nobody's talking about it. So unfortunately, the think tanks are missing. We are only fighting about the scrap we're getting. But we need to really have a version 2 of this dialogue. We need to upgrade our political dialogues and our welfare dialogues. Thank you.
Okay, on that note, because I have the last few minutes left now of this discussion with everyone, so taking that thought forward on having a master plan, I just want to understand, come back to the national picture for a moment with all the people standing with me here. The big question for this election continues to remain, how has Narendra Modi then performed as Prime Minister of India? I want to start with Mr. Ramesh.
Can you come again, Narendra Modi?
How has Narendra Modi performed as Prime Minister of India?
The verdict is mixed. At least as far as Karnataka, if I can speak for the state or the impression I get in Bangalore is concerned, there is a certain amount of fatigue. There is more talk than implementation. And this hate politics is not... Bangalore is a very enlightened city. It's a cosmopolitan city. And South has its, even among South Indian cities, Bangalore has its own character.
Right.
The Hindutva, the religion, the cultural politics doesn't work much with Bangalore, as was seen in the last assembly election. The
Okay.
Prime Minister campaigned extensively.
Okay, but is that all that Narendra Modi has offered to Karnataka? Polarization. Is that
But
what you're saying?
somehow these things loom large. I am
Okay.
sure there have been a lot of things that have been done, but the hate rhetoric, the Hindutva rhetoric looms large, at least among the educated sections of the people in Bangalore,
Okay.
even among the marginalized people.
Okay, all right. Last few minutes left. Mr. Menon, same question to you. How has Narendra Modi performed?
I think he's been a Prime Minister of Gujarat and the Prime Minister of the northern states, literally. I mean, I think none of the benefits have actually percolated down to the south. And, there are a lot of initiatives, obviously, that they talk about, but really nothing that has come down to the south, especially if you look at even highways. Let's look at urban infrastructure. There's nothing that's been done for Bangalore by the central leadership, and we don't expect them to necessarily, but at least policies coming down. If you look at the national highways that were built over here, many of them have just been completely, at a standstill. We have seen highways going out of Bangalore that don't move at all. And with this double-engine Sarkar, one thought that actually he would have done more, but nothing really much happened. So I think in a certain sense, I feel the BJP has really let us down. The local government has always let us down, but the central leadership we thought would do better. And I think, again, like they've echoed in the past, I think the division and all of that is probably a blacklist against Narendra Modi's government.
All right. Fair enough. Mr. Lahoti, your
Sir,
thoughts
there
on
is
the
no
same?
doubt as a trade and industry, we need a person because we have seen all political parties. Pan-India, if you see, there is no face to match Narendra Modi at present. So he is the one people will believe in India to make Shreyas Bharat because Vikasit Bharat, the way he's projected in his manifesto, I think that's the only face that will bring BJP into power, and we are extremely satisfied with the Prime Minister's role to make India a global phenomenon and recognizable throughout the world. Wherever we go, we are identified as Indians with a lot of respect.
Okay.
So that is, there's no match at present in all political levels for Narendra Modi.
Okay, I have the last couple of minutes left. Same question. The left side has had a mixed review. So what is your thoughts, sir?
So
30 seconds.
There are two examples. One is if you take the Vande Bharat train, right? So you got a new train like the Vande Bharat and all the other trains are suffering, right? That shows Mr. Narendra Modi's governance. His governance has been only for a few, while the vast majority are suffering. The second thing, when Mr. Yediyurappa was the CM, on stage, in public, he had to remind Mr. Modi that, the funds due to Karnataka are not being given, please give it. And after that, Yediyurappa was removed. So we've seen that there has been an attack on Karnataka's identity and culture, and on the entire South's identity and culture under Mr. Narendra Modi, and his governance has been only for the top 10%, whereas for the bottom 90%, it has been an unmitigated disaster.
Okay, Mr. Rige, 30 seconds to you, ma'am.
I agree with Vinay. We also need to understand that we are mother of democracies. That is what PM Narendra Modi said. In mother of democracies, you cannot have one nation, one election, one language, and one person. Because we are a democracy, we need to also understand that talking about Vikasit Bharat in 2047 at the cost of people living here in 2024 is not at all appealing.
Okay, Sandeep, last word to you. 30 seconds. Performance of Narendra Modi as Prime Minister of India, looking at the larger picture.
Well, to be fair, he is given strong leadership to the BJP and to the country on a national and international level. But in terms of governance, I think it's an extreme biased approach. He's chasing after these 5 trillion economy idea, which is certainly okay for wealth creation in money terms, but it is destroying the country in every other way because it's causing fractures at every level of society as well as nature. And this might actually make the country collapse. Maybe we'll have a good run for a few years and then we might all collapse. So this is the danger. We need a sustainable climate action plan for the entire country, which he has failed on, even though he's got awards from the UN Environment Program and all that. So I don't understand what he got for it, because if he really deserved it, he should have had a climate action plan for India. The poorer countries are the ones that will suffer the most when the climate crisis unfolds.
Right.
And everybody is going to suffer. We don't have a plan for it. That's his biggest failure. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So that was a little bit of the verdict from Ground Zero in Karnataka, which goes to polls tomorrow. 26th of April, and then the next phase will be on the 7th of May, when the citizens of Karnataka will seal the fate for those 28 seats that are up for grabs from this state. It's been a very enlightening conversation for us to understand what is it that the people of Karnataka feel. And I thank all of our guests and panelists for taking out the time to really join us on this election eve, to take us through their thought process and what is it that Karnataka ultimately wants.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.